Welcome to the Gals Guide to the Galaxy podcast, where a group of gals gather for you one cool thing around our topic of the month. Is it ancient history? Is it breaking news? Is it safe for work? Well, that's up to each gal. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back. I am Leah, and I am joined by Bonnie and Katie and Michelle, and we are talking about our one cool pirate gal. So Bonnie already talked about Grace O'Malley, and Michelle already talked about Saida El Hurra. Close enough?
You got it.
Yes! Sweet. And then Katie talked about Anne Bonny. Dun, 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 dun. So before we dive back in pirate style, I want to know something random about our gal pals. So each pirate ship had its own set of rules that were agreed upon by the crew. It would even include how the loot would be divided and who did what chores and like what was the moral code. In other words, why did a bitch die? That sort of thing. One common rule was actually no fighting on board. It was that common. So you had to wait till you were on land and then you could totally stab the living crap out of your pirate mates. But what is the one rule that you would have on your pirate ship? Bum, 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 bum. One rule.
I think I would have an impossible rule.
Yes.
And it would just frustrate me because it's clean up your own shit. Clean up after yourself.
I do like that rule.
That's not a rule anybody I've lived with can follow. Anybody I've ever worked with can follow.
It's a difficult one.
Hit, Josh. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, clean up.
Maybe we could say also take care of your own shit.
Right, there you go.
Own it.
Handle your shit.
Handle your shit. Clean your shit.
I like it. Do I need to make it a sticker? Will it help?
I don't know.
Should
I
we
can
name
put
it
up
the
somewhere
shit
in my
deck
house.
instead of the poop deck?
The poop deck. Hey,
Do you guys the shit deck?
do you guys know what the poop deck is?
It's the one on the back of the boat, right?
Yes. It's that short little one. It's like the little shelf that's not like full length of the ship. It's just that little bit is the poop deck, and a lot of times it's where the steering and the navigating happens. Poop deck.
Not where the
But do we know why it's called the poop deck?
I really assume only because people take a shit like over the railing. I mean, I just assume it's in the back of the boat. It's in the ass of the boat. That's what I'm gonna go
I
with.
don't know why. Here's my rule. You want to know my rule?
Yes.
There's this other pirate ship that I've lived on.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I wish on this other pirate ship that I could have this rule where if you see something that needs to be done, freaking
do it.
Do it.
There you
Do it.
go.
Don't wait for somebody else to ask you to do it.
Right.
Just do it.
Right. When you see
If you
something
see
need
a
to be
mess
done,
that
do
needs
it.
to be cleaned up, just
Do
clean
it.
up the mess. If the dishes need to be washed, just wash the dishes.
Right.
I
Yeah.
do feel like these rules
It's a
would
good
be
idea.
more enforceable on a pirate ship because you could use violence, right?
Right.
Like
You
if
have a
somebody's
sword.
if somebody's not pulling their weight,
Walk
if
the
you're walking
plank.
the plank, yeah.
Right.
Right there.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. My house doesn't have a plank, unfortunately.
Guess what it's gonna have tomorrow?
I mean, COVID. It's all the DIY projects. Just build you one.
There you go.
Second
I
floor.
see a new revolution happening throughout September in houses around America. Walk the plank if you don't get those dishes done. Clean up your shit. Bonnie, what would be yours, darling?
Well, I feel like just everyone has puppies is a little too, but maybe
Everybody should have a dog. I don't give a shit if your ass is allergic. Everybody should have a dog.
maybe something more like the Mystery of Silly Walks or something.
I do like that idea. I do like the Monty Python-ness of that. Because nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Sorry.
Right.
I mean, Killer Bunnies. Sorry, I'm trying to think of every Monty Python reference all at once. Ministry of Silly Walks. I like it. Okay. Mine is very simple. Mine is the same rule that I have for my house when I leave my house and my children are here and my husband. So whether my husband is still with the kids or the kids are by themselves, I have one rule, and the rule is no fires.
I thought you were going to say everybody goes potty before you leave the structure.
No fires. I don't know why this is a rule, but funny enough, this was like just a ridiculous rule of like, you know, I trust you all so much that just no fires while I'm gone. Like that's my only rule. And then in the middle of the night, my neighbor's house is on fire because he kept a candle lit. And I'm like, see, this is why we have a fucking rule of no fires. Because houses burn down. Okay.
Yeah.
So since then, I leave the house and I say, I love you, no fires. And my kids say no promises. And that's how we.
So you saying Anne Bonny would not be allowed on your ship?
Not if she starts fires. She needs to do that stuff on land at her father's house. Just not on my ship when I'm not there because I want to watch.
Yeah.
Just drive by.
Exactly. Yeah, that's that would be my one rule. And that has nothing to do with my gal, by the way. Whatsoever. Do you want to hear about my lovely gal?
Oh,
Yes.
Oh my God. All right. So a few years ago at a Gals Guide meeting, remember when we actually like had meetings like in person? We would eat
In a
food.
bar.
This was crazy time when we would get together. It's like forever ago. Anyway, so for those in-person meetings, I did a presentation called Saucy Gals. Saucy. This was back when like Phoebe and I were doing our student-friendly show, the podcast Your Gal Friday. We'd come across these like amazing ladies, but we could not tailor it down to a PG-13 life because if we did, we would do a disservice to that gal, and that didn't seem fair. So if we couldn't present their life in a very kind of honest and accurate, you know, justifying way, we just decided not to talk about them on Your Gal Friday because it was a student-friendly show. And so we labeled them as saucy gals so that in a different show or a different thing, we could talk about them because the world needed to know, just not on Your Gal Friday. So I talked about this gal at the Gals Guide meeting, and I didn't realize how much I loved her until I started talking about her. And still to this day, like when it was Pirate Month, Bonnie's like, well, I know who Leah's doing. I was just like in deep smit over this like gal. So I'm going to talk about Ching Shih. Ching Shih, her name translates to Madam Shing. In Chinese. She also have other names as well. Her most popular one is Ching Shih, Madam Shing, or Widow of Shing. She also has Sheng Shi Yao is wife of Shing when her husband was alive. Spoilers, sorry. But Ching Shih is how mostly she comes across. If you have seen the later Pirates of the Caribbean movies, because I have, obviously, I have name dropped them all the way through. She's the leader of the Red Flag Fleet at World's End. She's in that particular episode played by Takao Fisher. But Ching Shih was a real life pirate, and she was born around 1775. So we kid you not, somehow in our randomness, we have gone in like chronological order.
Nah.
Have we? Did we go math order or not so much?
Yeah.
We did? Oh, look at that. Woo! Perfect. So this gal, Ching Shih, also happens to be Lisa C's very favorite pirate. So again, for Lisa C, because we want to cheer her up, I digged a little deeper to find some more research about this fantastic lady who I am in deep schmidt with. So in the Guangdong province of southern China, she worked on a floating brothel. That's right. The story starts lovely. I dig it. She was a prostitute on a floating prostitute brothel boat. Does it get better? It does. She was about 26 years old when she married the notorious pirate Zheng Yi. Zheng came from generations of pirates. that was like, what did your family do? Oh, they were carpenters, or oh, they were, cobblers. No, pirates.
Mhm.
His family was pirates going to the ways back. Now, I first read about Ching Shih that she was kidnapped for the purpose of marrying him. But it seems that this girl has some special skills, like she was irresistible for a partner as a pirate. So Ching Shih, she was known for her business savvy. Because of trade secrets that would come to the floating brothel. She had many a pillow talk with political clientele to get to know their secrets. So it might have been total Schmidt and love, but it might have been a lovely business move, actually, for both of them to get married. Now, Ching Shih asked for 50% of the share in the pirate game, and her skills were so good, oh, she got it. So 50-50 share between the two. The couple would have 2 children together, and they shared a son that Jingyi had adopted before they got married, before they knew each other. So they pirated together for about 6 years. They got rival Cantonese pirate fleets to form an alliance together. These were pirates that were killing each other, that were fighting for the same money, the same land, the same taxes, the same everything. And they got them to form an alliance together. So they were marked by 6 fleets by different colors. So Ching Shih and her family were at the center. They had the most amount of ships, and they were the red flag fleet. They were like the central command, if you will, of all of the southern China seas. So there was also the blue, the green, the black, the white, and the yellow flag fleet. So there were 6 of them all together. So at World's End, at the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, when all of the ships come up and they all have different flags, but she's the one in the red one, that's her. So it was in total 70,000 pirates and 1,200 ships. It was huge. Absolutely ginormous. So after a few years of getting this massive alliance together, Ching Shih's husband was killed in a typhoon. Just, shit happens, typhoon. There was a story that as he was falling overboard, he pointed at his wife as if like, hey, she did it. But there was also a typhoon. So was it opportune? Was it a little bit of mischief? Who knows? Could it just be that, shit happens at sea? And so there's that. But she took over. And she took over in a very interesting way. She made herself like absolutely indispensable, and she earned the trust of the fleet leaders by sharing the power with each of them. So she made up new rules that include a very heavy punishment for sexual offenses, especially to female captives. She's like, no. Rapists would be put to death. There was no question about it whatsoever. Whether it was on the boat or on land, rapists die. And she encouraged sharing the collected money and punishing anybody who tried to steal from the community money. The whole idea was, this is all of our money. We share it equally. If anybody steals from it, they die because they're stealing from all of us. And everybody was cool with that. They're like, yes. So it's something that I actually like keep reading, is when women are in charge, they share their power. They don't take it. They don't push into it. They share that power, and that really gives them more logistics. But that's for another day, another time, another research for me to like keep doing it. But I find it fascinating, shared power. So because Shang Po was the adopted son that her husband like had before her, okay, before they had met, they very much like rose in the ranks, and he was very much part of the pirate fleet, and he was very respected in the pirate dynasty also, as in, the generational thing of, Shang came from a lot of pirates, and now there's this adopted son. So to quell any mutiny or questioning her power, what do you think she did?
Mm.
You think she killed him? Married him?
Married him.
Married him.
Yeah, she slept with him first, and then she married him. Yeah, I think it would have been easier to kill him, but I guess, power and stuff. But no. She, I mean, there's no blood there, but like it's still your adopted son.
Still kind of creepy.
It really kind of is, and everybody was cool with it. Everybody was like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
No.
Oh my god. So as far as their pirating, they did extortion, they did blackmail, they ran protection rackets. They did all of this, and they got very, very rich. They also got extremely hard for anybody to stop them. So hard that the Chinese government tried to stop them, but they failed. The British and the Portuguese tried to stop them. Didn't work out so well. And the thing that was really great is that every time the Chinese or the British or the Portuguese would try to stop them and didn't work, of course, they would take all of their ships and they would add them to the fleet. And they would also say, hey, anybody want to join us and join in on the community booty? So they would get bigger and bigger and bigger. And they could not be stopped whatsoever until they kind of could. Okay. So they were really close to being pinned in by the Portuguese. The Portuguese got lucky and surrounded them. And they weren't going to be able, the Red Flag Fleet and all the fleets were not going to be able to hold out forever, was the situation. And so the Chinese government offered them amnesty if they surrendered. Sounds like a great deal, right? Well, it's an even better deal because according to a book, Pirates and Privateers, by Cindy Valor, only 60 pirates were to be banished. 151 were to be exiled. 126 were to be put to death. That's not too bad, 126. Of 17,000 pirates, they were surrendering their weapons and pardoned and got government jobs. She negotiated all of this, including jobs for herself and a pardon for herself to give up the pirate life.
What did those select guys do that was so much worse than the other dudes?
I'm just they probably had to kill like a government official. Like I'll bet you it had to be political. But you had to be pretty bad. Or maybe they were ones that like Ching Shih didn't like. She's like, you can kill these ones.
Oh no, they're insisting. I'm sorry, guys.
These ones rape. These are a no.
Nothing I could do. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's amazing. So Ching Shih, she was pardoned. She then she gave up her pirate life. I mean, really, she was given a golden ticket. She made sure her crew was well taken care of. She even made sure that her stepson / husband, I mean, it just sounds weird, but it's both, was given a government job. She tried to get recognized as the wife of her stepson because in that time period and in that culture, in Chinese culture, a widow couldn't get remarried. You had to be a widow. I mean, you took on the name of widow for the rest of your life. But somehow, again, I don't know what was so fascinating about Ching Shih, but she had to be like charisma extraordinaire. They said, we're cool with it. You can totally marry your stepson. It's fine. Yeah. So not only did they like, you can marry your stepson, it's cool. They gave him a government job. So she was the wife of an officer in the government, which meant that when they had like military raids and military questions, they would ask her advice. Nice. Right. So cool. I don't know. So they had 2 kids together, her stepson / husband. They had 2 kids of their own. Her stepson / husband, I'm not going to drop one of them. He died at sea in 1822, and I'm really not sure why, and I really kind of don't care because it just kind of creeps me out a little bit. But he died at sea. It didn't seem like it was malicious. It could have, just shit happens at sea.
So are they
right?
His half? I'm trying to figure out the family. Are they his half siblings?
They're step
Yes.
siblings.
Their kids?
Yes.
Oh,
Like
half
what?
sibling.
Their kids are also his siblings.
No, they're not. No.
They are though, but they're his step siblings and his children.
Step siblings. They're not half siblings though.
It's wrong. It's just wrong. I know it's not blood, but that tree. Like, how do you even draw the family tree? You know what I mean? Like, what's the?
How much older was she than him?
I want to say 15 years thereabouts. Not a whole bunch, but I mean enough. So,
I mean,
because he was 15. Oh yeah, because he was 15 and she was 26. So yeah, so they were about 10 years apart. Yay. I mean, no matter how you slice it, it's just, she's my sister and my mother.
Yeah, it's not as bad as what it was back then with like 50-year-old dudes marrying 16-year-old girls.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And I mean, I want to say it was for political gain, but it was for a lot more than that. So it was political gain and monetary gain and status gain and keeping a fleet together. And you're on a fucking pirate ship and shit happens. So I don't know. Maybe Tempo was really hot. I don't know.
Oh man.
Who's to say? Adopted son. So she moved to Macau and she opened a gambling house, which was near the salt trade. So there was still a lot of privateers and pirates coming in because salt trade. And also there was a brothel. It was, you could say gambling den, but really it was just a brothel, for the most part. So she was a prostitute who became the most powerful pirate who was pardoned by the government and then became a madam. Her story is almost like her circular journey of the prostitute who became a madam with a little bit of pirating in the middle. Yeah. So in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, she's one of the 9 pirate lords of the Brethren Court. There's actually also 3 tie-in books that are the Pirates of the Caribbean series that are actually about specifically Ching Shih's character in the movie. And I'll put them in the show notes. So, but that is Ching Shih. I am just fascinated. I would love to hang out with this lady. Because she has to be charismatic as hell.
I'm curious as to how she could be okay with a brothel, but not with the other abuses towards women that she wouldn't tolerate in her fleet.
Right. Could be power.
Yeah. It could be, like the women of the West are seen as being like entrepreneurs and not so much. It seems like they're willing to do the sex work versus being forced into it.
Right. Yeah. If it's a choice. Mm-hmm. And it could be also the brothel on her terms, just like running a pirate ship on her terms. Mm-hmm. And I mean, can you imagine that if you're in that brothel and you treat a woman wrong and all of a sudden Ching Shih comes out and goes, "What'd you do to my lady?" Like, dead. Like you wouldn't mess around with any of her girls.
Yeah, that's true.
So you do have that little bit of clout there and stuff, but I mean, but absolute power corrupts absolutely is what they say. So
yeah,
who's to say?
Yeah, interesting. Such an interesting person.
She is a trip.
When I was looking for stuff on Saida Al-Hura, I found way more stuff about your gal.
Look at that!
all over the place.
See, and they were a couple of hundred years apart, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. See, it's just so fun to talk about my cat. Oh, and I forgot, I do have a picture of her. Well, I have a painting. Dun, 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 dun. There you go. There's a likeness that they go for of Ching Shih. So yes, ironically, you will notice she does not have a boob hanging out.
No, but I can't tell if she's wearing like pants or a skirt.
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's
The pants skirts.
So I think it's there we go, pants, and then like basically an apron over it, so it's the best of both worlds.
The bloomers.
The bloomers. Exactly. So yes, I find her absolutely fascinating. That hard and soft, that quite a bit of edge, that superpower, but at the same time, democracy. I shall burn your village down, but I shall do it for my people. It's too fun. Dun, 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 dun. Did you have any other questions for me about glorious Ching Shih?
I'm still trying to figure out that family tree.
Yeah.
Did they call him dad? Did they call him brother? Like, what?
They would probably call him dad. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, family reunions had to be difficult.
Didn't you say like her and the first husband had kids?
Yes.
So
2.
They're both uncle or aunt.
Yes. And dad.
And siblings?
Oh, and siblings.
Like the 2 other kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I hate to tell you, Bonnie, but Josh's sister-in-law from Ohio posted this news story on Facebook. It was about this woman marrying her stepson after the father died. Well, not a story even. It was like people sharing each other's status and crap, and all these people like blowing up about it. And the irony is, they were people from Indiana.
Yep. Well, here we like to make jokes that's stuff people in Kentucky do.
No.
But
then we call Noblesville Noble-Tucky. So
yeah. My whole side of the family is from my mom's side is from Kentucky, in Crittenden County, Kentucky, which is like kind of right below Evansville, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And just I remember doing the family history stuff, and I get to a point where this one family is only marrying people in this other family, like they're on a desert island. It's like
there could be only 2.
I don't know. I mean, they could just really like each other or whatever. I'm like, I'm sure there are other people around. But then I get to a point and I can't figure out. It's this lady ends up marrying her nephew. And it took me a while to figure out because they're all named like John. Mm-hmm. It took me a while to figure out, but like the birthday and the death day match up. And I was like, I don't even know what to do in my tree. Like, do I have him in there twice? Like, and then like I told my mom about this, like, you will not believe what I found. She was just kind of like, well,
shit happens.
Kentucky. Like,
sometimes you just marry your kin.
But it's like, you're so willing to not go outside of like that other family that you're like, I'm just marry my nephew.
See, that's the thing. Like, you get so militant about racial lines or culture lines, but yet sticking with the family. And we're not even talking about like the queen that has so many different diseases because that noble family has been marrying its own for so long.
But wasn't it something where they found out that like whatever disease they have is now like gone?
Hemophilia or something like that, isn't it? Yeah. There's some blood disease that the royal family has.
But in like the newer generations, it's like gone. So they were thinking that somebody had an affair because it's just gone.
Just saying. Shit gets weird. That's why, yeah, it's just, I don't have an answer for it. That's just weird. Right, exactly. On that beautiful family history note, would you like me to wrap it up?
Yes.
Although now I'm just imagining us producing a sticker with this really fucked up family tree on it. Like the branches are going wrong ways.
Oh.
But I have to say,
yeah.
your woman was a badass no matter who she chooses
no
to marry.
matter if she did marry her own stepson.
I'm not revoking her badass status. You know?
I don't either.
I did like that we picked 4 women that ended up being in like chronological order. So they're all different times in history, and then they're all different parts of the world.
They are all different parts of the world. Look at that. We went international with our pirates there.
We did.
Yeah. Totally
From
just
all
random.
The 7 seas.
Oh, the 7 seas. Way to bring it on home. I absolutely love it. Now, everybody have a cheeky one. I'm just kidding. So that wraps it up for Pirate Month. Join us next Monday when we share some spooky stories talking about gals that we think are downright scary. What will we think is scary? Oh, you're just going to have to wait and see. Thanks for listening. For show notes, links, and images from this week's show, visit galsguide.org. Want exclusive stuff like deleted bits and major bloopers? Become a Gals Guide patron today. Thanks for listening.